Ho, 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 ho. Merry Monomaniacs! Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
I guess I can maybe just talk about what I saw today at Walmart.
Yeah. I'd love to hear it.
I know. I know that more often than not, this isn't
So
the
first
case.
off, you made a major sacrifice today by going to Walmart to pick up that hat.
That's true,
Right,
which
yeah.
was kind of expensive. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah?
Yes.
I mean, look at that embroidery work on
I know.
that.
Because it was
impressive.
official NFL merch. Now,
Is that mistletoe or holly?
I assume mistletoe, which,
Ooh.
but
It was very special
no, it has
episode.
berries, so I guess it's probably holly. But I went in and first off, I couldn't find a single piece of Christmas clothing, which is insane. Other than this, right? There was like slippers, but those weren't going to come up on the camera.
I mean, you could have just put those on your hands, I guess.
Usually nowadays, like with this whole like ugly sweater thing being a whole meme, people have you can go in there and you can buy like, oh, it looks like I'm an elf or
It's got
whatever.
like half a reindeer jumping out of it. or
Yes,
something.
exactly. It's like a chest burster reindeer.
I've got 2 sweaters.
You think those could fit me anymore?
Well, that's the thing is I went to go grab them and wear them today.
Yeah.
We bought them in college for a
Uh-huh.
Find Me Alpha concert, and the Christmas Find Me Alpha concert, and they are smalls. And
yeah.
I
remember it
I'm
being
on
tight
medium
on
going
me.
on large right now, so I don't think people want to see me in that. Yeah, that would be a little
If I
bit-
remember properly, they were tight on me then.
I think
so.
so. Yeah. I mean, it was fine for me, but I lost that eventually my senior year.
Well, I'm
so-
sorry, Lions fans, and for all non-Lions fans, then you can rejoice. I have no affiliation other than my proximity to the Lions, so this is not a sign of affiliation.
And that was the thing. All of our fans were sitting,
On the edge
bated
of their
breath.
seats.
Yeah, just being like, which team does Shad support? And then all those that
It's
were
out
Lions
now.
fans.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's out now.
they came out and they were like, yes, we did it, finally.
told
I knew it.
him,
I knew it. I could see it in his eyes.
Over Thanksgiving, I told like a 7-year-old that I liked the Seahawks, and he said, "Ew."
Did you tell them that they're better than the Lions?
Based.
yeah. Well, so the thing is that they lost on Thanksgiving, and then their dad had to take him aside and be like, "Son, we root for the Lions not because they win."
No, so Midwestern sports, depending on who you cheer for, there's a lot of like fandom of false hope.
Yeah.
I'm a Bears fan and a Detroit sports fan otherwise, and
Yeah.
it's just perpetually being let down by your team.
Well, being a Bears fan though is kind of different because you can just be like, Mike Ditka.
Well, right.
There was a
Like,
time.
every Bears fan coasts on the 1985 Bears.
Yeah.
But the problem is we're going on, nearly 40 years
Yeah.
since that team existed.
Well, that's the
and
thing. There's a lot of gas in the tank
Nothing
still.
to show for it.
Well, it's true. I mean, but
Well, it shows you how much gas is in the tank,
Yes,
apparently.
exactly, or has been in the tank
Apparently
for
it's a
that
lot of
period of
gas.
time.
Yeah. It's just another building year. It's always a building
It's
year.
always a building.
So you were at the Walmart.
I was at the
right?
Walmart.
You were trying to get a costume.
Yes,
for
and
the
all
the
I could
pod.
get was this hat. And as I was walking, because I also had to pick up a bath mat for my bathroom, and as I was walking through the various home appliances sections, I got to the section where it was nothing but like irons and steamers and stuff.
Mhm.
And somebody had, and I'm sure this intellectually, this wasn't what happened, but I have to embrace it.
Mhm.
Somebody took 2 cans of fruit cocktail and put them on the shelf.
Mhm.
And perhaps it was because they were like, my cart is too full or et cetera. But I like to think that someone said, look, we don't got room for the fruit cocktail, but we do have room for a new iron.
There you go. One of those life sustaining, and by that I mean the iron. of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And every time I see something on the shelf that somebody obviously, just put there by themselves, there's so many different reasons. I've done it for so many different reasons, but I instantly like to leap to the fact that they just kind of made a direct replacement. It's like when you see anything in the toy aisle, like I need a action figure from Fortnite, so I had to, put down
pound of ground beef.
a pound of ground beef.
Okay, when it's frozen goods, they're dedicated. That was a quick decision.
That was-
Yes.
Exactly. It's like little Timmy, obviously, he doesn't need to eat, but he definitely needs to floss,
True. Well, he probably does need to floss.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Josh liked that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you teach, you know what the kids are on right now. Is it still Fortnite?
I don't know.
I thought you teach it at classical school, so.
I always assume, and I think this was true at my old school more so, that Minecraft is just never going away.
That's true, though.
It's here
Renaissance
to stay.
after Renaissance.
Yeah, it's
on
here
that
to
game.
stay. They keep making all this new stuff, and apparently you can do so much more. We grew up on the OG,
Yeah.
right? We all
Exactly.
play Minecraft.
Yeah, no,
at one
I
point,
remember
yeah.
I was in the alpha.
We played Minecraft with the Discord
Yeah,
about a
you
month
thought
ago.
the ability to like spell your name out of dirt blocks was like the coolest thing in the world, and now you can like teleport or stuff like that. It's a
Yeah.
whole nother landscape.
Well, now
so.
like you need a frickin' a minor in programming to understand half that frickin' game.
Oh my gosh,
how to
yeah.
use
It's really
the
complicated.
redstone
But that's
and
the thing,
stuff
though,
like
is that the kids are at that age and they're just getting into it. They're exploring the internet.
Yeah, they're exploring the space.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they're in
yeah.
there.
No, anything remotely murdery appeals to the violent nature of a 6th grade boy.
Yes,
so
of course.
I think the girls could care less, more so. And,
Okay.
But the boys, yeah,
They're
know,
in the corner.
like when you're
talking
at
about
recess, you just want to play football and fight your friends. When you go home, you just want to like kill people in video games.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, if that isn't the American dream, I don't know what is.
you know, it's just
I do kind of like the idea of a colonist, you know, in his blue shirt, loading a musket to take another shot into a line of British soldiers,
Mhm.
being like, one day, my son and perhaps their son and their son after them can win a victory royale
Against
is
100
why-
other men.
Yeah.
this is why I'm fighting
This
this
is
war.
why I'm fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about
And
that?
the rockets
Like, you know, it's a super like neocon thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, if those revolutionaries knew what our country would become, you know, they would be spinning in their graves. But like, in all honesty, can you imagine just be like in that moment you're about to sign to,
Declaration of Independence.
yeah, and then you just have a flash in your mind, like Benjamin Franklin just like sees it all. Benjamin Franklin, of course, would be like, hell yeah, dude, this is great.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know about the like Jefferson. Oh,
I don't know. I just like the idea of Jefferson, like, just for a moment being sucked into a pocket dimension, and then someone across it from a table explaining cryptocurrency for him for like 25 minutes, and then he just comes out and he's like, "Never mind,
it was a mistake.
So who of the founding fathers would win a victory royale in Fortnite?
Oh, in Fortnite specifically? I thought
mean,
you
I
were
guess-
talking about we put up in a death match of all of them together.
Well, we
Yeah.
could talk about both.
Okay.
yeah." If it's
Um,
at
I'm just
Fortnite,
thinking, let's say they're like, let's say like, you know,
Well,
Tommy J sees
yeah.
the future. He's on board with the whole video game culture. He's like, I got to get into this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he brings
yeah.
it
So
back.
he brings it back. George, Ben, they all get hooked.
esports,
Yeah.
Yes. Esports
Rockets
becomes
off in the 1780s.
yeah,
becomes a central pillar of our democracy.
Yeah.
Esports. No, I would say probably Hamilton because he's a big nerd.
yeah, that are like
He's a big freaking
one of the
nerd.
yeah, probably like that or Adams.
Yeah.
I think Adams, also
But he's like a
huge nerd.
dork.
Wait, what's the difference?
Like he's not like cool.
I know, yeah, but no, yeah, but Hamilton is like, you know, he's a math guy,
It's true.
but that doesn't mean he's going to be. It's kind of the loser who's good at Fortnite.
It's
in some
well,
ways.
I don't know.
Adams
I
and
mean,
Jefferson would talk the most trash.
That's true.
Mhm.
Jefferson would talk the most
Like,
trash.
on the servers.
mhm. Yeah, they would have him muted.
If anyone's
Yep.
going to get banned from the server, for
It's just a Modern
foul
Warfare
language.
2
Yeah.
lobby.
yeah.
Oh goodness.
Which one
Honestly-
of them would have their parents fighting in the background and just blasting mariachi music?
Oh shoot. Yeah, not Hamilton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I don't know enough about
Probably
their
John
home lives.
Hancock.
Maybe.
Because we know the least about him.
Yeah, because he's got the big signature. I don't know. He's
There you go.
compensating for something.
There
Things
you
aren't
go.
well at home.
Well, what about if we put them all into an arena and had them battle it out? Which one would come out on top?
What are you thinking, Matt?
This is a good question. You know, as a you want to say as a patriot, a true
Mhm.
American, it's
Yeah.
got to be George.
Yeah, well, so that's
but
that's
See,
my vote
that's
because
the most common
he's-
choice.
He's invincible, or at least according
Like,
to
I want to
all.
believe
Yeah.
that a bullet would just bounce off of his teeth,
Yeah, yeah.
and he would
because
look at
everybody
the
knows that
person-
wood is stronger than bone.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
would just look at the man who shot him and say something cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say it would kind of depend if they were using modern weapons. I think Benjamin Franklin would win. 'cause
No,
he'd
I
be
think
the only
that
one who
Benjamin
would figure
Franklin
it
would
out.
win just in general because he would use his classic
He'd
phrase.
have to be at the height of his powers because by the time the revolution happened,
I was
he
gonna
was
say,
like,
yeah.
fat and syphilitic. So.
It's true, but even a fat and syphilitic Benjamin Franklin, okay, because you know his classic phrase: "In matters of style, move like the wind; in matters of principle, stand like a stone." Right, something similar.
Yeah,
All right.
okay, no.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Apply that to a fighting style.
Yeah.
Right? The man can move and flow. right? With the best of them.
Oh, like a
He
butterfly.
flies like a butterfly,
Yeah.
stings like a bee, dude. Except for he stings like a brick bee of stone, right?
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's sort of my thought process.
There you
You
go.
know, maybe it's a little far fetched, but you know, I just got to stand up for my boy. In
No,
this
I think those are
instance.
the two picks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time imagining anybody else. I mean, Jefferson would just sit in the woods the whole time.
Mhm.
So actually, that's a pretty effective way.
I'll get you
To
to the
win.
finals.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've all read Hunger Games,
Yeah.
probably. Or did you read that?
I did.
Did
Okay,
you ever
yeah.
read?
Do you ever read?
I mean, yeah, everyone imagines themselves being, you know, the heroic guy who's going to charge into the cornucopia of weapons
Mhm.
and like hack down 6 people and then run away. But we all know when that gong sounds, right?
Mhm.
You're turning,
Yeah, go to the
grabbing the
woods.
backpack, and you're running.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's just a smart decision.
Well,
It's
actually, it is
just
a
the
smart
right
decision. It's
decision,
because isn't it sort of revealed that they just do that to get people to kill other people?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
only the
like-
losers get to the cornucopia.
It's a bloodbath for all of the people who are like
Yeah.
the born
Yeah.
and bred warriors.
So
who
here's
just
the
go out
thing:
there
is
and
like one of those aspects that you don't get from reading the book or watching the movie is like
Yeah.
the sheer amount of statistics there must be for this sport. Where it's like, all right, so statistically, those that rush the cornucopia, how many of those who survive the cornucopia
Well, here's the thing about
survive
that.
and then win the games?
Here's
at the,
the
end of
thing
you know,
about that
kind
is
of
that all that exists, but there's so many variables that I'm sure that the stats guys are super annoying.
Well,
It's like this
I
is
mean,
the first
you're talking
time
about
that someone from District 8 has ever passed gas you know, at the 15-minute mark. I mean, it's bad enough right now for like
somebody
hockey.
wins their parlay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
sports analytics are nuts.
Sports
Mhm.
analytics are insane.
Yeah.
What's as a sports fan?
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion? Because I read an article fairly recently. I feel like it was like a year and a half ago, specifically about soccer, which we're going to probably talk about a little bit later, but
Mhm.
specifically about soccer and about how statistics have kind of muted sports in a lot of ways and turned them into very formulaic endeavors. Right? They're over. What's the phrase? They're
Overanalyze?
not over optimized.
Oh, okay,
you know?
okay.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one thing that's fun about statistics is that, you know, when you hear a really weird niche stat
Mhm.
and you could rattle it off to someone, they go like, "Whoa," you know,
Dude facts, dude.
that's crazy. That's crazy, man. You know,
Mhm.
like in this soccer game, this guy made 6 passes with his left foot that led a teammate to having a chance to score on goal, and he
Mhm.
did it twice with his right foot. You know,
Yeah.
but then you like the problem is like,
Wait, sorry. I thought you were going to give us an example of something that was cool, man.
yeah, well, you know, if you're a nerd
Yeah,
about the
that's true,
sport,
true.
but yeah, no, I think like the danger is you get like way too far into the weeds.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're looking at like trying to optimize a team, whether it's whatever sport you're trying to build a roster, and one stat becomes like the principle on which you construct your roster, but
Yeah.
like it could be a totally misfounded principle.
Was
Right,
so the example I think this article used was that for a lot of years there was this impression in soccer, and again, this is me kind of, you know, you probably have more accuracy on this one, but there was this impression that you had to pass 3 times before you took a shot, because statistically most goals or something along
Mhm.
those lines resulted from passing 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
right? It might be 2. Yeah, I think it was 3, not 2, but it was passing X amount of times.
Okay.
And then, you know, for a few years, people were doing that pretty religiously because it was what, you know, the analysts had kind of shown to be accurate.
Right. It's what the story says.
And so then that kind of reinforces the statistics, because that means most goals that are being made in that manner,
right.
because
And
it's
they're
the way
only
that it
being
is.
made because people heard that that's the way
Yes,
they
they ought to be made. And then eventually it was kind of some other statisticians kind of got a hold of the data, and they're like, actually, this is a statistical anomaly. It's totally unrelated,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh crap, well, we kind of got egg on
I
our
mean,
face in this scenario.
As a soccer person,
A ball
Mhm.
kicker.
a guy who plays and coaches and
Yeah.
thinks about that, I would say where you make your pass from matters far more than
Yeah.
how many of them you string together.
Mhm.
Like one pass from a dangerous spot in your opponent's penalty box is going to be 10 times more effective at creating goal scoring opportunities than a pass from 60 yards outside of the box into the penalty box. Or like it's all, well, that's a perfect example of this thing where it's like statistics generate narratives, which is a cool thing, but also misleading if you don't treat them properly.
Yeah, I think
So,
that's a good choice of words with narratives, because that's
Mhm.
often how, you know, statisticians, you know, they look at the numbers and then
Data analysts.
they find the correlations, but sometimes they create the correlations,
Yeah.
right? It's like, you know, if you were to approach a man on the street and and
Just yell at him.
yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, you son of a bitch! Did you know you have to pass the ball 3 times?"
Yeah.
You know, he'd probably be like, "Well, I mean, what difference does it make?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the statistician would be like, "Well, look at the numbers. It's obvious.
Yeah.
You get more goals." But it's like, "Well, no. Like, what?"
This is why a
what
lot of people
situation, it does this create that makes it more optimized, right? I don't
There's
know if
a-
that's an easy answer to.
There's a
have.
story, a high school football team that I've read about and seen some videos of. They're following a statistical narrative right now.
Mhm.
This team for like 5-6 years since they got this coach who has followed this trend, they don't ever punt on 4th down.
really.
No, like it could be 4th and 2 on their own 5-yard line,
Yeah.
and they're going for it.
Because of the high. If it works
Basically-
out, it's going to be so high reward.
Yeah,
that-
basically the trade-off you're saying is that it's more likely that. So if you get it, you have a higher percentage chance of getting a touchdown later
Yeah.
in the drive.
Mhm.
If you don't get it, the odds of the other team scoring
Or
must be
about the
low
same.
enough that you could still replace those points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And enough to the point that it's statistically advantageous to go for it every
Does it
time.
work for him?
They've won like 4 state championships.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of crazy.
Well, so I
mean,
think
even
the
like,
one problem I would have with that is that your opponent always knows you're going on 4.
Yeah.
right.
True.
But also like you can get some really creative play calling when you know you always have 4 downs to work with.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
And you see this becoming more popular in the NFL. Now the difference is in the NFL, you can never go for it on 4th and 2 from your own 5-yard line because
No.
if you give the other team the ball, the other team is paid professional athletes who at
They're
worst,
going to
who
score.
at worst are going to score 3 points.
Yeah.
Like in the high school team, sometimes high school teams don't even have a kicker.
Yeah.
Who can make a field goal from 25 yards. So like you're thinking to yourself, it doesn't matter anyway. But like with
Yeah,
these
yeah.
guys, no.
Yeah.
So
That's guaranteed points on the board.
but you
right
have
there.
seen like a transition in the NFL where teams are more likely to go for it on 4th and like within 4th and 5.
Yeah.
Like close to the midfield line.
Mhm.
It's like you'll see teams on their own 42, like really
Which
consider
makes
going
sense
for
because
it.
at the end of the day, if a punt, they're not gonna. It's likely that they're gonna make it that far anyway off of a punt.
right,
right,
like,
like
you
that-
trust
that's a
your and if
possibility.
you trust your defense, what's the difference between a 70-yard drive and a 45-yard drive? Your defense plays less snaps, so they're not as tired.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of interesting things there, but like
Yeah.
that's a narrative too.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing, I guess, about statistics is that they create new narratives, which means the game is going to constantly change.
Yeah, you
which
get
is fun.
a bunch of. You can always have a different look at it.
Yeah.
different take on it.
Yeah, I know some people, who would say that, the Moneyball isn't an inspiring story.
It's not pure to the sport.
Yeah, they've ruined baseball with that whole mentality. I've heard somebody on a podcast once said they'd want to find that guy and like kill him. Like if they ever saw him in their life, they would strangle him.
Wow.
It's really great for running a baseball team as a business that needs to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, considering there isn't a salary cap on baseball players, I mean, it still only makes sense.
Yeah, right. Like unless you're New York and you can shell out $300 million to pretty much whoever you want.
Yeah.
like
It's
I think that's something like what Aaron Judge got recently. But like you have to build a team economically, and if you can use stats
Yeah.
to help you do that, all the better. But
Plus, they're playing more than one time a week, and
It's
well, that's the thing
games
too.
are boring.
182 game season will
Yeah.
like really even things out.
I mean, I've seen a guy go out of a dugout, walk up the stands into the back, grab a hot dog, hop out of the stands, and back into his dugout. And I'm like, is this?
That's
what are we
awesome.
doing, guys? It's really
Is this a
American.
major league game?
Yeah, it was in a major league
No
game.
kidding.
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah. Mariners
You
game.
don't think they'd be allowed to do that? I guess they just don't care.
Yeah, it must have. It probably was like a Tuesday game or something that nobody was at. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a bad season. It was the Mariners, so it was always a bad season. True.
Always
So-
is a bad season.
It always
you know?
is a bad season.
Folks, before we go any further, I want to introduce our guests.
Yes.
Matthew Nolan,
Hello.
cool guy, friend of ours, friend from college, teacher, all around sexy individual.
Wow. Okay.
I'm
I
gonna
think
go
that's
that
the first
far.
time you've ever introduced somebody on the show like that.
Well, hey, I'm just trying to be honest now.
Let's
That's
not
my
make
new
a
thing.
habit. Let's
That's gonna
not
be
make-
that's gonna be my New Year's resolution is to be honest.
Oh, okay.
And so
All right.
whenever we have a guest on, I'm going to be entirely honest about how I feel about them. And
Really?
so,
Well, if I can benefit from your honesty, then
yeah. So that's example number one.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
If you'd love to see more of that, then smash that like button. Comment below.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness. So, sir, on this podcast, we like to talk about our monomaniacal obsessions that we've had. Because people nowadays they get really focused on one particular thing for a very short period of time, and then move on to the next thing. And so we're trying to capture that. And we brought you onto the show, and as we alluded to earlier on, you've got a monomaniacal obsession related to the foosball for us today. What might that be?
yeah, I feel like it's the world's monomaniacal obsession at the moment, but it's hard not to be. It's the World Cup.
There
Yeah.
you go. There
So
you go.
I this comes out on Thursday. When is the last match?
So the final game was going to be played this Sunday between France and Argentina.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah. So
So, just so that you can be immortalized as the guy that called it.
Yeah.
Right now, call it. Who's winning?
Argentina 3-1.
3-1, Argentina.
Argentina
There you go.
3-1.
That was a heart versus head decision right there. So,
But there you go.
the bookies, Vegas is not going to be. The statisticians
Yeah.
are not going to be in agreement with me.
Oh,
Really,
Right.
they're pulling for the opposite.
France is a heavy favorite. Not heavy,
Yeah.
but they are the favorite. They won the last World Cup. They've got one of the two best or two of the 3 or 4 best players at this tournament.
Yeah.
The storylines between those two teams are actually really cool. So France has this guy named Kylian Mbappe,
Yeah.
who's a
Nice.
23-year-old who burst onto the scene in world soccer at the World Cup last cycle in 2018.
Yeah.
And he scored 2 goals in the finals to beat Croatia. Pretty awesome game. But now he has established himself as probably on his day the best player in the world. And he's having an awesome tournament. He's got 5 goals and like 3 assists, and and France are playing really well. They've got 2 other guys, or no, France has 1 other guy who also has 4 goals.
Yeah.
So as a team, they're clicking. They're probably the deepest team at the World Cup. They're probably the most talented team at the World Cup. They've got a very good coach.
But Argentina has Messi.
But Argentina has Messi.
It's true.
And
And
Messi.
heart.
If you were to pick another candidate for best player in the world, it's probably Messi. And
Yeah.
he's been playing out of his
Especially
mind.
after how Ronaldo
kind of
wasn't played.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We could talk about the statistics. I have a statistical story for you about that. But,
Yeah, I'm actually curious about that.
But yeah, Messi is probably, in my opinion, has been the best player at this World Cup. He's also scored 5 goals. He also has a couple of assists, and he has made some ridiculous plays to push Argentina this far in the tournament. And he's doing this at 35. This is probably his last World Cup.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
widely regarded as one of, if not the best players
So-
of all time. And so this is like his chance to put the stamp, cement his legacy, just like go out in glory. Although I don't think he'd retire full send from the World Cup, although that'd be a very cool
So
moment.
I would be.
I
away.
would be awesome. Yeah, he literally kicks the final goal right in. Everybody's screaming, "Yes, Argentina!" And then he's like, "Everybody, quiet!" Everybody stops.
Yeah.
Picks the
I'm
mic
done.
up and he says, "I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Freaks.
So I wouldn't spend too much time analyzing this match because by the time this is released, this match will be completed.
Right. Yes. Here's the
So,
other thing too.
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe and Leo Messi play on the same club team.
Oh, really?
France. They both play for Paris Saint-Germain. That's where they play throughout the rest of the year when they're not playing with their international teams. And so it's going to be a really interesting conversation when one of them wins the World Cup and they both go back to practice on like Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because they'll have games the next weekend.
They have to
So,
go to the locker room.
Yeah, so like this is the other thing that's really interesting about the World Cup this year is that the World Cup's normally played in the summer.
Yeah.
This is the first time I think ever that they've had it in the winter.
Because Qatar would be far too hot.
Because in Qatar it'd be way too hot, and so it makes for some really funny storylines for like these players who have to like basically pause their club season halfway through, go play the World Cup for a month, and then come back and finish their club season.
Is the club season going on right now?
Club season? No, it'll resume.
They all took a break.
Every league took a break because there were
FIFA
too
was
many
like-
people missing.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, there's all sorts of different little stories that have popped up. Like in the semifinals, England and France, or quarterfinals, England and France played, and France won 2-1. and England's striker Harry Kane had 2 different penalty kicks in that game against France's goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, who plays for the same club as Harry Kane. So Harry Kane is shooting 2 penalties in the World Cup quarterfinals against the goalie that he practices against at his club team. Tottenham.
You could imagine that'd be a
It's
major
crazy.
disadvantage.
Well,
though.
it's crazy, yeah, because you got to imagine that that guy's probably seen more of his penalties than anyone else, and so he made the first one and then he shot the second over the bar. Missed it, just
So
whiffed the goal. Like,
so
whiffed on
it
the
wouldn't
goal.
even matter.
Yeah, no, but like I was like, what's that conversation going to be like? They get back to training. Would they speak about it even? Would they say anything? Like,
Well, I mean, probably
Maybe the language barrier would prevent it.
yeah,
true.
I guess it could.
It's true, but I would say after maybe a couple of years and a couple of beers, maybe that they talk about it. But
Yeah.
it'd take a
And it's a
bit of
British
time.
team,
It
so
is.
it makes
It's
sense.
true.
Yeah, England have a history of also just not being good at penalties in the World Cup. So,
Yeah.
a very storied history of
Yes.
penalty kicks in the World Cup.
and also just doing poorly generally sometimes.
Well, they're a good team usually, but they like underperform because
Yeah.
they're bad at
Well, and
penalties.
that's what
Yeah,
I've always
yeah,
heard is that
yeah.
they underperform, comparative to the other
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
teams. Pretty, it's always disappointments.
But yeah.
What?
so-
Why would you say that the United States of America,
Uh-huh.
the best country on earth, is unable to succeed at the World Cup regularly?
Yeah. So I would say that this World Cup was probably the best performance the United States has ever put in, even
we
though
got out of
it's not
elimination.
the furthest that we've ever gone.
Yeah.
But it was the
Real
best.
quick, are we in the pre-qualification list?
Are we pre-qualified for the next cycle?
No, are we pre-qualified for the World Cup? Period.
No.
Okay.
We have to qualify. This is what happened in 2018. We lost to Trinidad and Tobago in a qualifying match that knocked
Yeah.
us out of the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
I watched that game, and that goal was a disappointment to this entire country.
Yes.
Yeah, we could talk
Tears
about
were
that.
shed.
It was bad. But yeah, this was probably the best tournament the United States has had in a long time, if not ever. It's the best team I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the single best game I've ever seen the United States play is when we drew England 0-0 in the group stage.
Yeah.
People expected us to get battered.
Yeah.
in
When
that
they went on
game.
to the quarters.
And then they went on to the quarters, but we held our own. And actually, we probably deserved a win based on how that game played out.
Yeah.
Even I listened to a lot of different podcasts, like British soccer podcasts,
Yeah.
and even like some of these guys were saying the United States England kind of got away with one.
Mm-hmm.
And so the funny thing about it is that I've been saying this for years. 10 of our 11 players in our starting lineup for the United States this year don't play in the United States. This is the key to American success.
Yeah.
Is to
Generally.
outsource
Yes.
talent
Well,
to Europe.
you could say that like Europe's key to success is to outsource talent from the Caribbean and North Africa.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Where it's like-
France's team is built on a lot of Algerian,
Algerians.
Senegalese.
Yeah. Which is kind of
Uh,
funny because Morocco also got very far, also a North African country.
Right. Yeah.
So
First African team to ever make the
Yeah.
semifinals of the World
same
Cup,
thing- Also,
which is pretty awesome.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
that includes also because I know a lot of it was first majority Muslim country. Also, is that true?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So big deal for a lot of
Yeah.
different people. That was the only game I've actually watched all the way through. I've seen highlights and stuff was Ghana and Portugal in
Mhm.
the group stage, which was
That was the one where the guy scored the winning goal and then took his shirt off, wasn't it?
for.
Oh, no, never mind.
Portugal.
No.
That was-
Shad would have remembered
that was
that.
Brazil and Cameroon.
You
Okay,
remember
this is
a man
great
take his shirt
story.
off.
Yeah.
This guy, first of all, his name is Vincent Abubakar.
Nice.
Perfect.
Great name.
Yeah.
This guy wasn't the Brazilian. He was the
No, this was the Cameroonian.
Okay, yeah.
He scores a goal to go up 1-0 against Brazil, who
Yeah.
were, at the time looked like they were going to run away with this tournament.
Yeah.
They
I
were
heard
playing,
some people say they were in the running for the tournament.
Brazil were the best team
Yeah.
that I saw play in terms of the quality of their soccer.
Yeah.
But he scores this goal in the group stage, and Brazil's already qualified for the knockouts, so they don't really care about this game. Like,
Yeah.
they've won their group. They're playing a second-string team. And this dude, before he scored the goal, he got a yellow card. And I don't know
Yeah.
how much you know about the rules for soccer, but if you get 2 yellow cards in a game,
You're out.
you get a red card, you're out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he scores this goal and rips his shirt off to celebrate, which is a yellow card offense
Yeah.
in soccer. So he got sent off.
Yeah.
That was the second yellow. So he got sent off, and Cameroon ends up winning the game. But he
Yeah.
gets sent off for taking his shirt off in a World Cup match after scoring a winning goal against Brazil. And honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's how you want to be sent off of a
Yeah.
game.
It's true.
I heard there's a, and this is one of the another. There's all sorts of weird, funny things that kind of come up with the
Mhm.
World Cup because it's this clash of cultures. It's like
Oh, for sure.
national drama kind of plays out in it. You know, we can talk
Yeah.
about FIFA as a corrupt multinational
There's a lot to talk about
organization,
there,
but
yeah.
I was watching the Portugal versus Ghana game with a friend of mine who's a soccer player, and he was telling me, he was like, "Oh, it's all the European teams hate playing African teams, and the reason is because when they foul, like if the foul's called, the African team picks up the ball." And it like delays the game because there has to be this transfer between them and the referee, and it's like this whole thing. But they-
Everybody does that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things like flopping that is a very annoying cultural norm in
Yeah.
soccer, where it's like, you foul someone, and so it's supposed to be their ball, but you pick up the ball, you start walking back to your spot on the
Yeah.
field, and then you like roll it back to the guy, but you don't really roll it back to him. You roll it either like really short, so he has to go pick it up, or like you accidentally throw it over his head.
yeah.
It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense, because the other thing is like the ref's keeping track of this on
Yeah.
his watch, and like is going to add on the time you just wasted doing that to the end of the half,
Mhm.
whatever half you're playing. So like it doesn't actually waste any time.
Yeah.
It just ends up making the game longer, and then those teams usually end up complaining about the fact that there's so much extra time.
Yeah.
Because they were wasting a bunch of doing stupid things like that. So
The prima donna-ship of soccer.
yeah, it's a little much
Yeah,
sometimes. But
Exactly. A lot of overacting, as is the meme, as it were.
Yeah.
Folks, speaking of memes, this show, we are in a lot of ways a meme, right?
Yeah.
You could say
It's
that.
a little early, isn't it? It's only 30 minutes.
Yeah, we usually do it at 30 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's usually what I do.
Okay.
Folks, we can only be the meme that we are, and I don't mean meme as in like a cultural signifier that's spread out. I mean meme
A
as
joke.
in a joke of individuals, right? We're generally just jokes of people, which hey, as long as we make you laugh, we can only do this because of our patrons out there. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. You really do help make this work. Without you, we can have this bombing setup we got right here. I mean, look at this. This is the peak of professionalism going on right now.
Incredible.
I want to make a special shout out to our top patrons, that being Sammy Roberts, Joe Papalardo, and Zach and Amber Strehle. Thank you so much. You especially helped make
What
the
a
show
lineup.
go.
I
Yeah,
know.
What a lineup indeed. I also want to say, if you are interested in supporting the Patreon, we got a lot of tiers. Tier 5, as in $5 a month. You guys get to listen to the exclusive Patreon post show, which is uncensored. Which is take it as you will. Read into that whatever you'd like, whatever makes you actually want to watch it. Read into that. That is what's in it. Okay.
Yeah.
At the $10 tier, you get to ask us questions that we answer on the podcast. And I got some questions from some folks.
All right.
And also, just before we go into that, if you're interested as well, we got the Patreon Discord. We play video games. We hang out sometimes. It's good. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can get that as well. All right. So we got some Samuel Roberts. All right.
Good friend of Matt Nolan's.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is
Can only
actually
imagine what that man has conjured up.
It's probably, he asks good questions. They're usually pretty low key, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty low key. This is actually kind of on topic a little bit.
All right.
What is the best ethnic food?
Ooh.
Matt, we'll put you on the spot. What do you think?
Oh, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it's got instinct here.
We
were talking about Mexican food earlier.
I like to cook a lot of Americanized, sort of bastardized versions of different ethnic foods.
Well, yes,
but
that's
Classic.
par for the course.
it is, right? Broadly Mediterranean food.
I was going to say,
That's great.
you can't
Yeah.
go wrong with
You
Mediterranean
can't.
food.
The spice palette's the best, I think.
Yeah.
It's got a good mixture of like fresh ingredients versus like
It's about as good as it can get for you.
it is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is pretty good for you. Yeah.
You got olives. You got some of the best bread.
The breads are
Oh, delicious.
pretty impressive.
I got to
too.
say, I don't have anything really bad to say about any ethnic food group.
Mhm.
I think,
no.
I mean, I would say that I've had negative dim sum experiences.
Mm.
But I love Americanized Chinese food. I like Chinese food, Szechuan Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more specifically, Indian food's great. Mexican
But do you have a
food's great.
favorite? That was the question.
Well, I was gonna say probably if I had to like really pick, I'd say probably Mediterranean.
Yeah.
You know,
There's some the versatility is also
Yeah.
a big one there. You can do a
and
lot
plus that's a
with it.
pretty big
Big region.
region.
Mhm.
You know,
It gets you all the way from like shawarma to
you got shashuska, you've got
euros to like
hummus,
you can really do the whole whole gamut.
Technically, penne pasta.
Depending on how
There
how
you go.
unqualifiedly
a
you determine Mediterranean to
smoked
be
Spanish ham, Mediterranean dish.
just right by Gibraltar. You know, it's
There
loosely.
you go, tapas.
Yeah.
I think like the most common answer might be Italian.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I'm a huge Asian food fan.
I was
Like, I
gonna, so
love-
one of my other choice popping around in my head was Southeast Asian kind
Oh
of
yeah,
like Thai
yeah,
or
Thai, is
Thai
really good.
curry stuff like that.
Mhm.
yeah. Thai's great. I've had
Yeah.
Laotian food, also very good.
Mm.
Similarly,
Yeah.
Southeast Asian.
I just like sushi so dang much. I just love it so
He
much.
just loves sushi.
I love my sushi. All
It's hard not to like.
Yeah,
It's true.
his company has a Japan office, so there's a good chance he's going to be able to go to
Oh no kidding.
the source.
That's awesome.
The
I'm
sushi
excited.
source.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in somewhere real nice. Is the hope. All right. We went through all of Joe's questions that actually make sensical sense.
Yeah. On the last episode.
Yeah. So we'll hit up another Samuel Roberts question, which is, what would your ideal pyramid scheme be?
Mm.
What do you mean my ideal is in? I
This is-
mean,
if you
my
had to-
ideal pyramid scheme is the one I'm on the top of.
Yeah, yeah. Where you're not the pawn who
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
realize
maybe
they're
he's
in
just
the
looking
pyramid
for-
scheme.
yeah, maybe he's just looking for an idea.
Yeah,
more
is
than
it
anything.
the product? Because the thing about it is you can do literally everything.
Yeah,
Anything can
like,
be a pyramid
You guys ever
scheme.
watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Nutriboom.
Mhm. There you go.
There's one.
Yeah.
There's one model. you
Well,
know?
that's a play off of what is it called?
Yeah.
Life or something, or what's it called? The
Oh yeah, what's the
one that like everybody on Instagram was into.
right.
Yeah.
Look it up.
So
I'm not
health,
gonna
you know, health.
yeah.
Anyone will believe almost anything about health supplements.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm not going to say what specific business, but there is a business in town that is an MLM front.
Mm.
Yeah, he's looking at it. Josh knows what I'm talking about. There
Yeah.
is a business that claims to be a food business that is actually just selling MLM products. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of versatile ways to kind of get away with that.
For me,
Yeah.
it's simple, right? What do people need, right? That you can
Water.
convince other people that what other people need. right?
Water.
That's a trick.
Okay.
Water's good.
Mhm.
Water's good. But think bigger than that.
Air.
Think bigger than
Lakes.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
think-
There we go. We can just increase the size. It's late.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a volume game.
Oceans.
Yeah.
We sell ocean passes. No. I'm thinking.
Love.
No. No.
Time.
Isn't pimping just an MLM?
Yeah. Wait.
Very
Is
condensed.
prostitution just the greatest?
It's
Pyramid scheme of all time.
the world's oldest pyramid scheme. I don't think technically, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, probably not.
No.
What?
What people need is shoes, right? Right. People need
Oh,
shoes.
yeah, bigger than water and air.
Yeah.
Love.
I mean, how are you
Shoes.
gonna get to that old lake to go drink that water if you're not
Right
wearing
out the
a nice,
lake.
nice pair of shoes?
Yeah.
Right.
How are you gonna get dysentery without shoes?
So is this a dig at the Croc Empire or
Are they an MLM?
no? But
no,
Yeah.
no.
they're just
Too expensive. Too expensive. What we
Oh,
sell
okay. So
Yeah,
is-
yeah.
is
Clogs?
adhesive
Oh.
pads you put on your foot.
It's like the spray on shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking.
Yeah.
It's a thin layer of super glue. You go. You don't even have to take it off, dude. You could shower in those things.
And of
Yeah.
course, you
Perfect.
pitch it as like friendly to your skin, but once it's on there, you don't care.
No, exactly. Friendly to your skin. Your feet air out more. It's healthier.
So here's the problem with this, though.
Not getting more
is that
athlete.
sounds like they're one use
What do you mean?
because the whole point of an MLM usually
Oh, you want to sell
is
a
that it's
product
like
that's
it's a
reused.
subscription, so
Mhm.
that the person who's selling the product also has to use the product, so that you're selling it to them.
I guess I just made a Shark Tank product more than I made a
Yeah.
pyramid scheme
Yeah.
product.
I like the idea of you
Yeah.
going sharks.
Mm.
Sharks. have you ever thought about how uncomfortable shoes are in general? Not any particular kind of shoe, just shoes in general.
Mark Cuban's like, I like my shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wrong.
Yeah.
You don't.
You know what's more comfortable than shoes? Glue.
You know?
Isn't that just those nude? Is it nude shoes or whatever? What are those things called?
yeah.
You mean those toe shoes?
Yeah, toe shoes.
Yeah.
No, but those are just a wrapping for your foot.
Yeah, isn't
Right.
that just a glue wrapping for your foot?
No, there's no wrapping involved.
Also, what kind of arch support are you gonna have? That's gonna kill your posture,
Freaking the cavemen didn't have arch support, dude.
and that's why they looked like this. That's why they were leaned over.
How
They're all
valuable,
hunchbacks.
how valuable is
not
a properly
thinking-
aligned spine?
Exactly.
To the end of the day.
I don't know.
This is a paleo lifestyle, but also for the modern day, right?
So you're
Modern
basically like
convenience,
you're like Liver
paleo
King,
lifestyle.
but
Okay,
you.
well, I was going to say there's a potential, another product is, fitness plans,
Yeah.
right? You re-up your subscription every month to get access to the diet, the recipe book,
Yeah.
and the exclusive workout content.
Well, that's everything nowadays.
That'll give you-
all
yeah,
fitness stuff. Is
That'll give you the six-pack ab implants that the guy on the box has.
Yeah.
Yes.
like Liver King who was taking
Yeah.
GHD or whatever.
Yeah.
Did it ever come out that he has implants or whatever?
I don't know about
thought I
implants,
heard
but
that
he
at
was
one
he was
point.
on he's on roids. It's
Well,
confirmed.
of
He's on
course.
roids.
He
Have you
admitted
seen him?
to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody who from
Have you
everyone
watched
from
his
a mile
confession-
away.
confession video?
No, what's
No,
it like?
It's very funny. But the classic
Does he
line-
cry?
Yeah, yes. But the
Okay.
classic line from it is, "I am seeing a trained hormonal technician." This is all above board. No, yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Who knew that you can't just eat liver and become an Adonis? You know, if only it were that easy.
Well, also, like, you got to question to what extent people are meant to look like that.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say to me, Matt, that you do not have a bronze aged mindset right now?
I'm
dude?
saying, as a man of the Midwest,
Yeah.
I can appreciate
True.
a body that is built to survive the winter.
Well, so this is like
There you
when
go.
you look
There's
at
something biologically significant
Yes.
about that.
I'd say that most likely the warrior body is not what he had. First off,
No.
because his traps were too big. How the hell would he
No,
throw
no,
a spear properly?
It's true. It's true.
I love his simulated hunts. Have you like seen one?
Yeah.
Where he's chasing like his wife around the forest, and it's like, yeah, if I don't hit her with this wooden spear, I don't get to eat. It's like what? But you know, how is he going to throw a spear with those traps? But if you've seen professional body like power lifters, that's much closer to what like
Yeah.
a warrior's body would
Oh,
look like.
yeah.
Perhaps trimmer
Mhm.
for mobility reasons.
Yeah. But,
But
like,
a
you're not-
bodybuilder is
a bod-
not the thing.
no, warriors aren't cut.
Yeah.
They're bulky.
Have you ever seen a
They're-
bodybuilder from behind before?
Is it? I mean, yeah, I've seen videos of them like posing and things.
Well,
like
so their
that.
ass cheeks look like a chestnut.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. There's a reason.
No
they-
homo,
No, there's a reason why they always take photos from the front for bodybuilders. They
Yeah.
look insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But-
Shad, you're up all night looking up pictures of bodybuilders from the back, dude.
No, it just came up on my Twitter feed. I
Yeah,
promise.
okay, that's what they all say.
The
Yeah, I
algorithm
promise.
got you.
The
Yeah, that's
algorithm
true.
got me. They knew what I wanted.
Elon, he was looking through your
Elon.
webcam and could tell. Dude. He
Yeah.
could tell what you wanted, brother.
All right, so let's get back to the World Cup because I want to keep talking about this. I think we have a lot
Yeah.
more to speak on here.
Mhm.
So yeah, we've got France, Argentina, two best
Yeah.
players in the world, both playing out of their minds.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that game will probably end up being the top scorer of the tournament, the top player in the tournament.
Yeah.
And there's also this narrative that if France wins and Mbappe has a good game, it's the sort of passing of the torch moment where Messi would be handing off the like best player in the world title to Kylian Mbappe, except for the fact that when they go back to their club team in France, Messi is having a better club season by goals and assists
Yeah.
than Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but millions
So-
and millions of people aren't tuning in to watch those games.
No, it's true. Not many
Mhm.
people watch the French league.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, that's one of the other things. This final, and it also is probably out of the teams that were left in the quarterfinals, the two best teams left in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like as cool as the Morocco story would be, an Argentina-Morocco World Cup final is less exciting
Yeah.
from a soccer perspective, like the quality of game you're going to get, than a France-Argentina game, especially because the way they've both been playing is making it seem like this game is going to be really open-ended. It's just going to be a lot of attacking.
Nice.
It's got potential to be a fairly high-scoring game, though I don't know if it actually will be.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
They
have to
may
see.
score a total of 5 points. That would be
3-2 is a high scoreline.
Yeah, it is.
I said
true.
3-1. That would be a lot of goals.
Yes.
It really would.
Yeah.
That's
a
the
lot of
other thing.
action.
I'm
you
really
know?
excited for him to be right. I'm excited for 3-1 to be the score.
3-1 Argentina.
Yeah, and for us after the game, for us to just post on social media like, hey, you guys got to tune into this next episode.
there we go.
this guy right here. He's got it. Right? He's got
Yeah,
all the
But
takes. Oh,
I see
goodness.
you're just an old soul. You want to see Messi
yeah, I think he's.
have one more in him.
I think it would be. Yeah, it would be just like a perfect narrative for him, a perfect story for
It
him.
would be poetic.
I don't in my mind, I don't think he needs it to declare himself the greatest player to ever play soccer. I think he is that probably. But like I have a hard time finding anyone who could disagree with that if he has the kind of tournament that he's having right now. Because it's not just like this isn't like your 2015 Peyton Manning where the Broncos won the Super Bowl, but they really won the Super Bowl because Von Miller won the Super Bowl because
Yeah.
Von Miller destroyed the entire Carolina Panthers offense by himself.
Yeah.
And Peyton Manning basically just didn't lose the game. This isn't like that. Messi's like still at the peak of his powers somehow, playing out of his mind. So
He's not like as old as Ronaldo.
yeah, well, that's been interesting. So
Yeah.
if you want another storyline, it's the Messi Ronaldo final World Cup. It's the final World Cup for a generation of some pretty spectacular players, including like Luka Modric from Croatia, who went out in the semis. The fact that Croatia's made it to the finals and the semis in consecutive World Cups is a
Yeah.
ridiculous story of its own, and he played a huge
Not a
part
very
in
big
that.
country.
No,
And they're
no.
not putting a lot of foreign nationals into
Not
their
a
team.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy small country, although a very good soccer country. They've got
Yeah.
players all over the place. But yeah, Ronaldo did not play well.
Yeah, I saw a couple. I mean,
Yeah.
the only game I watched was a Portugal game.
Yeah.
And I was not. He was doing poorly.
So there's a problem. There's a problem with having a team that is so centered on one player,
Yeah.
like a Messi or a Ronaldo, and Messi's run into this problem in his career too, is that you have to give them the ball.
Yeah.
Because what makes them so special are the things they can do with the ball, and you have to like.
It is soccer, so
It is soccer, right? You gotta kick the ball sometimes. But
Yeah.
but the problem with that is you like enforcing the ball to this one player. You are restricting the options you have to run your offense and to manipulate space because you know this guy's going to get the ball. And like the problem is sometimes these guys. Well, what you can do basically, like because Ronaldo plays up top, so does Messi, is you can have 2 or 3 defenders sit on him. And so, like, you're not going to get him the ball long and, like, play it into him. So he has to drop super deep. Messi has to do this sometimes, too. Drop into, like, even with the midfield of the defenders and receive the ball there just so he can get his foot on it.
Yeah.
And that totally screws up your spacing because now your best player is, 50 yards away from the goal and not going to be able to do all that much with
So
it.
is this why Portugal didn't play him for 2 games straight?
Well, that and like they play better without him. They realize like in their quarterfinal match against was it their quarterfinal match? It was either the round. I think it was the round of 16. They won 6-1 without Ronaldo on the field.
Yeah.
They scored all 6 goals without him on the field. One of their strikers had a hat trick. It was like something just unlocked for their team where they were all of a sudden very fluid. And Portugal is no slouch. Like on paper, their roster is probably top 5 at the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's good. But then they get to the quarterfinal game, and this is where they went out of the tournament, and they didn't start Ronaldo, and they brought him in, and they weren't playing particularly well. And then they brought him in like the 60th minute, and that didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
They lost to Morocco.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's having the same problem on his club team at Manchester United too, where one of the major things to come out of this World Cup or right before this World Cup is that he like had this public interview with Piers Morgan on British television where he basically just said, "This club sucks. I'm not getting played.
Yeah.
And I'm better than you are. So kick me out." Or
but he's like nearly 40 years old.
yeah,
How do you run for the 90 minutes or whatever it takes?
you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is like all the statistics, at least, right? If you want
Yeah.
the statistical narrative, is that both Manchester United and Portugal are better with Ronaldo off the field.
Yeah.
Now, anyone who's just a common soccer fan is going to say, you're crazy
Yeah.
if you say that.
Yeah.
Like, how could a team be worse with Ronaldo? It's like, well, a 38-year-old Ronaldo is not the same guy as a 27-year-old Ronaldo who is like doing all these things. That
Well,
Real
I mean,
Madrid,
it's similar to like the Tom Brady effect or et cetera,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, there's like a certain prestige and like a certain strength to them being there, right?
Yeah.
But you do get old. It does happen.
It does
eventually.
Yeah, it does happen. And like
Sports are a young man's game.
and so now the problem is like, or the kind of sad thing is that Ronaldo doesn't seem to be dealing with that all that particularly well.
Yeah.
And it
sounds like
it puts a small blemish on what has otherwise been an
Sterling career.
all-time great career. I mean, if it's not Messi, it's Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm curious about that because I feel like it and I might be off on this, but it doesn't seem to me. It seems like when you're reading the stories of a lot of very famous coaches from like the mid 20th century and like the early 2000s, even, is they're all former players.
yes,
Is that still the
it's
case?
pretty common. Although there's a new wave.
Because I would never imagine like someone like Ronaldo or Messi or
I
Tom
don't
Brady or
know.
any of them coaching.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're the only like, not the only, but a lot of times super successful players don't always make great coaches because they are so immersed in the game and have such an understanding of the game and a sense of the game that it doesn't always work well for them to translate that into like tactically explaining it to
They're
other
speaking
players.
greatest of all time. They can't communicate to
Right.
Yeah.
This is why I don't think you'd see Michael Jordan coach, also because he just doesn't have to.
Yeah, and also he's not a coaching type personality.
No, he's not a coaching type personality, right? So like,
which I feel like Ronaldo showed himself
like
as.
now an
that
example,
particular
it can,
conversation.
maybe, but it can happen. Like an example to me, that sticks out to me is in the '80s, Johan Cruyff, who was a Dutch player in the '70s for the Netherlands when they were one of the best teams in the world, somehow didn't win a World Cup. It's a crazy thing. They were so good. But he was also a Barcelona player. And he retired and he coached at Barcelona and created one of the better Barcelona club teams ever.
Yeah.
Before Messi got there. And then so he had a great career as a coach and is also probably a top 5 player of all time, or up there at least, depending on, who you're going to ask about it. But he's got a move named after him, so you kind of know you've made it.
Is it called
at
the
least to a
Cruyff,
certain
or-
degree? It's called the Cruyff turn.
Okay.
It's like, at least if nothing else, if you get a
There you
move
go.
named after yourself,
Yeah, you're
in pretty-
immortal.
you're in pretty good shape. You're immortal, right? You've
For as long as soccer
crystallized
exists.
your destiny.
Yeah. When we're playing soccer on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. But yeah,
Mars
so
soccer.
you kind of feel for Ronaldo because it's probably got to be difficult to go from the peak of athletic excellence to like. And it's not that he can't do things still. He just can't do as much for as long.
Yeah.
But it's got to be hard to go from that to the fallout of that happening in a rather quick
Yeah, especially, I don't know. I mean,
pace.
especially when you say something so brazen about Manchester United and then you're on the world stage and your national team doesn't even play you
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
two
So
two
Manchester
games.
United dropped him.
over that.
They
Yeah,
cut his contract.
Of course.
And so now he's
Did he get the
got
severance on it though?
I don't know how that
Yeah.
all worked out, but he's got an offer on the table from a Saudi Arabian team for something like $300 million
Is it
in
so?
a year.
Is that
he's
one
gonna
of
make
the?
$300 million for like a season or something like
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
some absurd number.
Is that-
It's
is
the
that-
biggest
is-
contract that will have ever been paid out in sports history if it goes
Or
through.
is that a new thing for the kingdom as well? Because the kingdom right now is trying to do golf. You hear about this?
Oh, the Live Golf Tour?
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. With Live Golf,
I think it's amazing.
I've heard it's. I've heard it's a ton of fun.
It's great.
Yeah,
They
but
like
that's all
it's-
just Saudi money.
It's
right?
everything. It's everything the casual golf fan
Yeah,
wants golf to be. Like, first,
which makes sense. It's Saudis who run it. That they don't have much grass out there.
Yeah, like it kind of cuts corners on the whole sort of, and not even the quality of the courses. The quality of courses are amazing.
Yeah.
The money is obviously huge compared to the PGA Tour, but also like it cuts corners on some of the sort of seemingly unnecessary formalities of the PGA Tour. So like there's something dramatic and exciting about having a tee time announced for every player on the first tee box, but it also means you sometimes you're waiting 5 hours before you tee off on a day of golf,
Yeah.
which also makes a huge difference depending on the weather. Because if you go out and you play a round of golf in the morning when it's like 70 degrees and there's no wind, you're going to shoot and the greens are soft, you're going to shoot way lower than guys who have to go out at 1 o'clock when the wind is picked up and the greens are super dry, so you can't stick anything. And those guys are all going to shoot like 2 over. Like, it kind of screws you, or it can in tournament golf. So like one of the things the Live Tour does is they shotgun start, which means that they have guys on every hole and they all tee off at the same time. It's like, it just makes sense. Everyone's playing the same course under the same conditions. There's a certain aspect
just in a different order.
Yeah, there's a certain competitive fairness to that I think is attractive. But that's just one thing. But I mean, like,
so this is probably something we're a little late in the podcast to get into, but the only thing I've ever heard about this particular tour was my little brother when I dropped him off at the airport the other day, saying that it's bad news. Like, a lot of bad things are going on over there.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Like, because he listens to a lot of like Barstool podcasts or whatever, and they're like super anti this tournament right now.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you why. He didn't give me a clear reason, but apparently there's some human rights stuff that's questionable going on.
Well, I mean,
there.
that's rife throughout the World Cup too.
Yeah.
True.
So I was thinking that maybe that'd be the thing to tease for the Patreon. Is we talk about FIFA a little bit, and we talk a bit about Qatar, and the fact that they allegedly, potentially might have
murdered a guy.
Yeah,
it's a good. It's a story.
That's Patreon exclusive content right there. We don't talk about murder on this podcast,
not once,
except for that episode in which we spent the whole time
episode talking about
murder.
Right, but that's why you don't need to talk about it on any other episode.
Exactly. Right. That land has been claimed.
That land
the
has
flag
been claimed.
has just been planted.
Yes.
On the Isabel Strehle episode, of course.
There you go.
If you're interested in hearing us talk about murder and Jeffrey Dahmer specifically, then that's the that's the podcast for you. Goodness.
Which that show just got surpassed as the most watched thing on Netflix of all time.
That's crazy.
I think I frankly think
it got surpassed.
Yes, the Wednesday show surpassed it,
which is insane to me.
I don't know a single person who's seen it.
I've not seen Wednesday.
I think it's fake. I literally think it's fake.
Me
think
too.
Netflix is inventing it all.
On
Every time they release a high profile thing, they say it's the most streamed thing on their platform of all time. I think that's.
I mean, to what extent
bull.
can they just like say whatever they want and we won't care? We'll just believe them. Right?
My Facebook is nothing but fan pages for the Wednesday show right now.
YouTube Shorts Reels. The dance scene pops up like every fifth. Or whatever it is. It's crazy.
Well,
this is definitely manufactured.
Well, the funny thing is,
we're
being manipulated. Funny thing is, actually, about that specifically, is that a lot of people who write for Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Amazon exclusive, and whatnot, part of the writing process is writing scenes or lines that make good GIFs or real length content.
No kidding.
Yeah, they say like, okay, this is fine, but like, can we cut this down so we could sell it, and then use spend a whole bunch of ad money on putting it in front of people, et cetera, et cetera. So that dance, there's a good chance that was particularly formulated as because I saw a freaking Wall Street Journal article about that scene, and I was like, well, who paid for this, right? First off, but it's like obviously somebody put that all together.
Yeah, they care enough to make that happen.
Yeah,
dude, yeah. You can't trust that anymore, dude. It's crazy. Yeah.
Can't trust it.
Again, I do not know of a single person who has seen that show.
No.
Then again, I haven't been on Twitter, so I don't know.
You're also not like the target audience of Zoomer.
No, but like I know a lot of people just in general. Nobody's talking about it.
I haven't heard any of my students talk about it. So
yeah, they're actually around the age.
It's like the target audience, right?
They're the
like
target
middle
audience.
school, early high school age.
Nothing. And so they're just like
they're not out there.
They're
doing
like creepers.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
They're Minecraft. What's Dream up to?
What's
Redstone.
Dream? I had plenty of students, especially at my old school,
who were dream people.
Big dream people.
They were a bunch of dream sexuals, as it were.
I didn't ask, didn't inquire that far. Didn't make it my business to know.
Good.
That's good. That's good. That's not your responsibility.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah, that's actually one of those things, like the Wednesday thing where my algorithm on Twitter is just like, no, you're a dream stan. And I'm like, no, I'm certainly not. It's just promoted tweet after promoted tweet after promoted tweet. Isn't it crazy what this guy said on a dream stream? And you're like, no, I don't care. I'm not 12.
Who is that? Yeah.
What?
Goodness. Jeez. All right, folks. Thank you for listening.
Is there anything that you want to plug before you go?
Yeah. Do you have anything?
Me?
Yeah. Before we go to the Patreon.
Never had a chance to do this before. No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't think so. I'm not a man of technology or of the media
You
realm.
should use this as an opportunity to start that. To leap off from this into
Okay.
your multi-million-dollar.
Well, I can plug
media empire.
my only other media experience, which is podcasting on the Hillsdale College Classical Education podcast.
Hey, there you go. Hell yeah, dude.
There
I'm
you
a
go.
2-time episode guest.
Oh, I haven't heard your
on
second
that
episode.
show. So if you're interested in learning about the education world as it's happening, you can find me there.
delivered in much the same way as his football explanations. So it's bound to be impressive.
There you go.
All right, folks. Catch us on the Patreon.